What's up, gatekeepers? Hold on to your wine glasses because Beyond the Gates just served us a piping hot platter of drama, betrayal, and a cliffhanger that left us screaming. I'm your girl Phil, and I'm bringing you a recap of episodes 117 and 118. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the end because things get wild. Let's get into it. Now, in episode 117, we kick things off with Leslie and Eva, who are serving us couture chaos at Orphe Jean's diner. Leslie shows up dressed like she's about to walk the red carpet, and Eva is like, "Mama, can you not blow through the family fortune in a week?" But Leslie, who is living her best life, calls them royalty and dreaming of proper tea parties. And then a lawyer from Dabney Law shows up with a check for, wait for it, $1 million. Leslie's reaction, tears, gratitude, and a quick dash to the bank. But Eva reminds her that rich people stay rich by conserving their cash. But let's be real, Leslie's already planning her next shopping spree. Now, if somebody handed me a check for $1 million, I'm booking a flight to Paris. Okay, so I can do some shopping. We done all had them lottery dreams. Now, if I win the lottery, this is what I'm going to do. Right? So most of us, we going to clear out our debt first. And then after that, it's on and popping. Houses, cars, clothes. We doing it up. Am I right or am I wrong? Meanwhile, over at the Duprees Manor, Anita and Vernon are dealing with the fallout of Leslie's visit. And yes, Anita slapped Leslie hard. Also known as the slap heard around Fairmont Crest. Vernon thinks she deserved it, but Anita's feeling conflicted. Now, Kat is in the living room reeling from the news that her parents are divorcing. She's sad, mad, and questioning if love is even real. Nicole tries to reassure her, saying love is real and that she'll always love Ted. But Kat, she blames Leslie and her evil spawn Eva for everything. Nicole, though, is softening towards Eva, realizing Leslie nearly ruined her daughter. It's a complicated web, gatekeepers. But you know, Kat is like, my evil nemesis just keeps on winning. When is something bad going to happen to them? It's just not fair. Anita goes to talk to Nicole about Leslie, but before she can, Bill shows up. Bill says the Duprees need fixing, and he's there. Anita asks if the blind trust can be revoked, and Bill says nope, it's ironclad. Leslie will keep getting cash until she runs out of money. Now, Vernon wants to know how to strip her of this money and not her life, obviously referring to the unaliving of busboy Kenny. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I still don't understand how they so mad at Bill about it. He wasn't the one that put out the order. It was Joey Armstrong. And then nobody keeps playing a blackmailer until the end of time. You get rid of the blackmailer. Right, you get rid of them. You know, that's how it's done. Because you can't keep paying this person forever. So the threat was eliminated. And now they don't have to deal with that no more and to move on. But to keep bringing back, you did what you did. You know, come on. And maybe it's just me. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Anyway, Bill says they'll have to protect themselves and double their security. Bill said he can take care of all of it, but the only thing he asks is that they show him and Little Miss Haley respect out in public. And Vernon is like, I showed you respect by inviting you over. Okay? And Bill was like, look, everybody know that if you don't have Dupree blood in you, you're never a Dupree. And maybe that's why Ted dipped out on Nicole. Ooh, okay, now you know Nicole didn't like that. But he says that he'll take his terms, or they take his terms, or he out. And of course, Bill and Vernon shake hands, and it's a done deal. Now, Ted finds Andre at the country club drinking. Andre fills Ted in on Drab Ashley walking in on him and Dani kissing. He explained how it all went down, but Drab Ashley is done. Dani shows up all smiles, and she mocks Ted as she wonders why Andre is taking advice from a man who had an affair and a secret baby. Ted ignores her and tells Andre to hit his line later. Dani calls him scum before he leaves. And Andre is like, do you always have to be like that? Dani said, so Uncle can't keep it in his pants, your love guru now? Anyway, she wants to go back to her place, but not for a bang bang. She asks why he can't discuss his issues with her, because she always going to him saying, Andre, guess what? Okay. He is hesitant, but then admits Ashley saw them together and now doesn't want to be with him. Okay, so he tells her the whole story, and Dani is like, we didn't even sleep together. Why is she tripping? And Andre is like, we never got off the ground, but whatever. And that's my whole point. Y'all didn't even really have a real relationship, and you drowning your sorrows over Drab Ashley? Please. So they talking and they start getting closer, both on the verge of kissing. Then Dani pulls away. And then she says, no. We're not getting ready to start this again. We are friends. And if you want these benefits back, you're going to have to put in the work, because you whined and dined on Drab Ashley. I want the same thing. Can you do that? And then Andre was like, yeah, I could do that, but do you think it's going to turn into that? And then Dani is like, well, she can handle it. And then he moves in for a kiss one more time, and she's like, nope, for now. So we circle back to Leslie, who shows up at Ted's room. He wonders, why are you here? And of course she tries to seduce him, but he's like, okay, I'm not interested. And then she tells him that she is just as rich and maybe even richer than he is. How do you like me now, teddy bear? She tells him about being Barbara's daughter and how Anita is her benefactor. Now Ted can see that she wants his help in getting close to the Duprees. In other words, how do I be rich and act rich? Okay? And he is like, wealth is a nuance, and she couldn't buy subtlety for all the money in the world. She hands over the $50K he loaned her, but he refuses. Later, Kat finds Eva at Orphe Jean's and blames her for her parents' divorce. Eva surprisingly is heartbroken too, because she thought Kat's parents were the ultimate happily ever after couple. Relationship goals. They share a brief, bittersweet moment with Eva touching Kat's arm before leaving. Could this be the start of a truce? Nah. And finally, Leslie meets Vanessa at the country club and drops a bombshell. She wants to hire her as her realtor. And why? Because Leslie's got money to burn, and she dreams of living behind the gates. Vanessa agrees to find her something that suits her, but let's be real, Leslie's going to be a handful, and this is going to be fun to watch. So moving on to episode 118, we kick things off with Ted showing up at Eva's hotel room. Eva, of course, is like, what did my mama do this time? And Ted is like, relax, your mom's not the villain of the hour yet. Of course, Eva is like, Leslie used to be a good mother, and she didn't get crazy really until after Alan's death. And then she turned into the queen of chaos. Now, Ted tries to convince Eva to think of his family as hers. But Eva's a little hesitant and said, that sounds all good, but I'm not sure about Kat. Okay, and then Ted invites her to Kat's launch party, but Eva's more interested in playing matchmaker for Ted and Nicole. Then Leslie shows up to whisk Eva away for some shopping. And of course, she can't resist throwing a jab at Ted about the stench of new money. Ted leaves and Eva learns they have reservations at the country club. Leslie is now a member and she dances around, take it all in, take it all in. She's thrilled. Eva starts to laugh, affected by Leslie's excitement, and they get to dancing together. We going to the country club, we going to the country club. Meanwhile, over at Chelsea's, Kat is on the phone thanking somebody for crossing the state line to get her shipment because it was late. Now, Chelsea worries that there's more bad juju coming. Kat gives her a pep talk knowing she will be a great success. Maybe they'll expand into home goods. This makes Chelsea feel a whole lot better. She gets some swag bags ready and gives her cousin some flowers. Chelsea Kat wouldn't be where they was today if it wasn't for Kat. They hug and joke about dumping Madison and Tomas and growing old together. Then Kat goes, leaving Chelsea to finish getting ready. Once she's gone, someone is lurking outside in the shadows. Turns out it was Bill to congratulate her. Bill loves the company name. They're honoring Vernon because he used to call them that when they were kids because they were inseparable. Bill knows she's been busy and encourages her to take care of herself. Now, before she leaves, Madison shows up and he's wondering why she's there. Chelsea introduces Madison as her friend, quote unquote. Bill's glad to see her and leaves. Then Madison says to Chelsea, well, hi, friend. Chelsea explains that she and Bill have not discussed her sexuality yet, and they try to figure out how to hang out at the launch party without being too handsy. They flirt and share a kiss, and things get a little heated. Eventually, Madison leaves, taking the swag bags with her, leaving Chelsea to continue to get ready. Now, over at Duprees Manor, the wine is flowing, but the vibes, not so much. Naomi and Danny show up only to find out that Leslie is Barbara's daughter and the beneficiary of the blind trust. They are shook. The whole family is shook. And Danny's ready to call Bill to get it revoked. But Vernon is like already done it. And unfortunately, it's irrevocable. Nicole, of course, is dreading how Leslie's going to use this money against them. And Anita, she's trying to stay positive. But we all know Leslie's not going anywhere. Okay? So at the club, Kat and Tomas are admiring their purses, at least until Leslie and Eva arrives and Kat proceeds to tell them they don't belong. The women are like, yes we do. Eva asks her to relax, but Kat says they are not on the guest list for the launch party. And Tomas, Kat, come on. Ugh. Kat breaks into laughter when she learns that Leslie is the newest club member. Yeah, right. She thinks she lying. Tomas tells her that Miss Thomas has come into some extra funds. A server shows the women to their table and Kat asks Tomas, why you ain't tell me about this before? And he is like, well, I know you're so busy and I didn't want it to ruin your night. Okay. Also at the club, Ted and Bill have a drink and discuss Leslie and Eva. He's happy to be Eva's father and is trying to make up for lost time. And you've been concerned with making up for lost time with Eva instead of trying to get your wife back. Across the room, Leslie watches Bill. She's in a mood, so Eva offers to change seats. Leslie refuses and blames the Duprees for Barbara's unaliving. And Eva is sorry, but they end up toasting to Barbara because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for Barbara, they wouldn't be getting the money that they get. Ted admits that Nicole is dating Carlton. And of course, Bill is like, what? She dating Carlton? Yeah, dude. Ted says that he'll reach out to the lawyer that Bill suggested, but he still wants Bill's help in keeping Nicole. And Bill is like, look, man, I could try to slow walk it as best I can, but if she is bent on moving forward, it is what it is. Leslie and Eva stop by their table just to say goodnight, and Leslie gets under Bill's skin. Leslie says she's not the same girl he trifled with years before. Eva tries to drag her mama out, but not before Bill tells Leslie, I suggest you check your club contract because harassing another patron at the club could be cause for expulsion. The woman refused to be intimidated. Leslie lets them know she bought the house across the street from the Duprees. The women leave and Ted is reeling. Now, Kat arrives at Dupree Manor and tells everybody that not only is Leslie Barbara's daughter, but she and her evil spawn are rich. Of course, they already knew. Everybody decides to put it behind them for now and celebrate Chelsea and Kat. They wonder what's keeping Chelsea. Madison thinks she's probably changing shoes for the third time. And Leslie and Eva go back to her room, and Eva doesn't think her mom can be happy unless she's standing on somebody's neck. This is her chance to stop her need for revenge. Leslie says this isn't just a house, but a mansion. You can have your own room, and I'll even get some servants if necessary. Now, Eva isn't happy that she bought the house across the street from the Duprees. She says, I'm not like you. I don't get off from everybody hating me. Leslie reminds her that the Duprees took from her, and they are lucky that she is content with some real estate. She admits she exaggerated a little bit about the purchase, but then I did give them a substantial offer. And right at that moment, she gets a notification on her phone that the offer was accepted. They start dancing. Now back at the Duprees, everyone starts calling Chelsea, but she doesn't answer. They are really starting to get worried. Vanessa arrives at Dupree Manor and she lets them know she is Leslie's realtor and showed her house after house. None of them were good enough until she put in an unsolicited offer at the home across the street from Dupree Manor. Vernon is astounded at the gall and hopes they don't go for it. They have until midnight to accept the offer that is well over market value. Vernon wants to outbid her, but Nicole is like she'll just buy another one down the street. Anita suggests they prepare for it. And then Anita and Vernon go into another room so she can complain, and Vernon says they'll handle it together. And finally, back at Chelsea's, who is really changing shoes, when someone dressed in a black leather jacket comes up from behind her with chloroform and covers her mouth. Chelsea screams and struggles. And then later, alone and passed out somewhere unknown, Chelsea has been kidnapped. Okay, so y'all, these last two episodes were a roller coaster from start to finish. Leslie's out here buying mansions, Chelsea's been kidnapped, and the Duprees are barely holding it together. I don't know about y'all, but I'm counting down the minutes until the next episode. Who kidnapped Chelsea? And what's Leslie's next move? And will the Duprees ever catch a break? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you're as obsessed with this show as I am, share this video with your fellow soap lovers. Until next time, gatekeepers, keep the drama alive.